I'm Cameron.
Welcome out, ladies and gentlemen, to the Cash Flow Condors webinar presented by Untitled Trading. Tonight, your host will be Tim Justice, and he will be teaching the Cash Flow Condor system to our class. Stay engaged in the chat and feel free to ask questions tonight on the Cash Flow Condors webinar. Enjoy.
Very good introduction there, and welcome out to our webinar here tonight, guys. Let me first start by saying hello to everybody. Cameron, give me video access if you would there for a minute. And let me check our attendee list. All right, first off, welcome, and great to have you guys. Tyler Craig, I see you down there as well. Let's promote you up to a panelist and say hello to you real quick. And several team members, actually. It looks like we got a full crowd. Are you guys excited for tonight's webinar, by the way? Fired up? Very good. All right, let me see here. Hello, by the way, my name is Tim Justice. I'm the COO of Tackle Trading and a coach and a mentor, and been a trader for a long time. And I brought one of my friends up here, and he is the architect of the system I've been trading for a very long time. Very, very powerful. And the feature for tonight, very good, Kim. I got you. Tyler, if you've got a mic, and if you're there at some point, come on in here with your mic, and I want to say hello to you. Tonight's webinar, there's several things that I want to do. Number one, set very clear expectations. We've got 47 people here in our attendee list. There's me, I'm going to be teaching. We've got Cam as the producer, so we've got 50 people here tonight. For those of you out there, how many of you have been with Tackle Trading for longer than, say, a month? How many of you are veterans of Tackle Trading? Okay, hashtag Team Tackle. Great to have you. So many of you have been with us for some time, okay? Now, do we have anybody out there, and just type in the word green if you are new to Tackle Trading within the last month? How many of you are green here? We've got some halftime crew that have been around for a long time. We got some people who are green. And guys, those of you who are veterans, why don't you welcome the people who are new and say welcome to the team. You know, it's good to have everybody here. Okay, very good. I'm an option trader. I trade Forex, futures, options, and stock, and I love trading systems. As a trading coach and mentor, I've taught tens of thousands of people all over the world. I've literally traveled the world teaching the markets. Now, I live in Salt Lake City, Utah. So as a way to get to know everybody out there, type in the state, the city of where you live, or the country if you're out of the U.S. We have an international student base for sure. So let us know where you're from. Some people from Utah, Houston, Ottawa, Canada, Sacramento, St. Petersburg, Mexico City. Jose, welcome. Great to see you. Alabama, Canada, Montgomery, Garland, Atlanta, Paul and Yen, Orange County, California. I got a lot of great students down there. In fact, one of our great coaches, Gino Poor, is from Southern California, Redondo Beach. So Aurora, Texas, Mexico, Octavio, good to see you as well. Coconut Creek, Alpharetta, Georgia. Awesome. Houston, look at this. Very exciting. Tyler, if you got a mic, come on in. Let me say hi to you, young man.
Good evening, Tim.
What's up?
I'm just pumped for this webinar. Very excited for all these people joining us.
Do you got your video?
I do.
Pop it up.
Let's do it.
I don't know how long I can stand staring at you there, but I just do want to say hello. I'm just teasing. Tyler and I have been trading buddies for a long, long time. He's a coach. He's a blogger. He's a mentor. He's the architect of the trading system. And Tyler, I'm going to be promoting the system tonight and talking about it. What can you tell the audience out there about Cash Flow Condors? What is it that they're in store for here?
Sure. First off, I need mic or video rights from Cam.
Okay, but hit that video button.
You guys are in for a treat. We've been trading this system. We have group meetings every month. We've been doing this for a couple of years. We got a really good team. It's a wonderful cash flow system. I think, Tim, we are on our 4th or 5th winning month in a row. We had a little hiccup in June. Otherwise, this year's been great for this particular system. And I'm just excited for these guys to get a taste tonight to see what's in store.
Very good. And Cameron, I don't want to make Tyler the host, so I don't know why his video won't show up. That's okay. Tyler, I appreciate you coming in and saying hello. And as the COO of Tackle Trading, this is a system that I wanted to promote. You know, we do a lot of different things at Tackle Trading. I'm very proud of this one because, quite frankly, guys, and everybody out there, I want you to understand this. If you're new, we take care of our own. We take care of our team. We make sure that you guys learn what it is that you're intending to learn so that you have the best opportunities to succeed in the market. See, we're real traders that do this from home. Some people call them retail traders. I don't know if I love that name. I'm an at-home trader, Tyler. I trade from my computer and I trade my accounts, and I love doing it. And I love the markets. How many of you guys out there want to learn to make some money? Okay, type in the word money if you're here because you really want to do something that can bring you some income into your life. That's what we're here for. Tyler, thank you for being here. I want to get right into the content. I don't want to do too much of an intro here because I do want to teach a bunch here tonight. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you, young man. I am going to drop you down into the attendee list, and I'm going to drop my screen. I will come back and share video. By the way, everybody say hi, Tim. You know, I'm the only one showing you guys me, but that's okay. I like it. Hopefully you guys are excited. I'm fired up to teach. Let's rock and roll. And you bet. All right, let me bring up my screen. Okay, let me know if you can see that. All right. Now, very good. Very good. Okay, tonight's expectations. For me, it's mountain time, 6:35. On the East Coast, it's 8:35. And on the West Coast, it's 5:35. We should be about 90 minutes, okay? So kind of plan your evening here. Plan on about a 90-minute presentation. I usually design it to hopefully get it into 60, but I do know, being a teacher for as long as I've done this online, that it can go longer than what you expect. And so sometimes it does not, you know, button right up at 60. We should be done within about a 90-minute window. During the presentation, I am going to teach you guys a lot. I'm going to teach you how the system works. I'm going to give you the rules for the system. You will know how to build an iron condor using this system by the end of the webinar. You won't be an expert, okay? We will also have an offer for the system, and we are selling something here tonight, and that's pretty simple. I don't believe in any kind of, you know, gimmicks or anything like that. Let me make it simple. We've put together an 8-hour course that at the end of the webinar, I'll go through the details of what that offer is. It is a very, very amazing thing that we do. You're going to love this webinar no matter whether you purchase that or not, but we will be making an offer at the end of the webinar. So I hope you guys are planning on that and expecting that, and that we can go through those details pretty simply, just kind of give you the information that we can make some decisions on if this is for you or not. If I was out there and I was in your shoes and I was brand new at this, by the end of this webinar, I would want to identify, okay, how do I get to become a part of this team? And how do I go out there and start using this one trading system that's going to make me some income? Because that's what the options market's all about. You know, Tackle Trading is a company that brings traders from around the world together. And I'm very, very proud of that. You know, at Tackle Trading, we have a lot of different things that we do. Videos and webinars and blogs and daily shows and weekly shows. But the pinnacle, the real crown jewel to all of it is that we are here to promote systems. See, I think one of the mistakes that a lot of people, definitely we are recording, Jorge, so definitely we are recording. One of the mistakes a lot of new traders make, in my opinion, is they don't set up the expectations of what they can achieve if they do this correctly, you know, and they'll buy books and they'll do all this kind of stuff, but they never really build a business. You know, they never really build the components and the details of a trading system. And that's what we do as coaches. You know, I pride myself on that, and that's what we are going to do. I've been a financial markets trader since 2005. I'm an investor, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a speaker. I've been trading for a long time, and I do trade stocks, options, futures, and Forex. but I prefer options for income. And guys, you will get very used to the way that I teach. And one thing I want you to do is I want you to stay engaged and interactive. Take some notes. If something is very, very important, I will tell you to write it down, okay? If something is critical, I'll say, hey, guys, this is critical, and I'll be very deliberate in it. Participate, ask me questions as we go. This will be an interactive session. First thing that I want you to do is I want you to write down options for income. Options for income. Because out of all the products in the market, I believe the options market is best set up to generate income for traders out there because of the way that the contracts work, right? And that is the nature of it. And this is really, really helpful if you're out there and you're thinking, okay, things are, complex, or I don't know how to use options. That's okay. You only have to learn one trading strategy if you want to learn how to use Condors. It's just one system, one strategy, and that narrow focus is actually a big advantage. Tonight, we're going to talk about how to make 10 to 15% return on each trade each month with an 85 probability of success. Now, that's capital invested into the market. The minimum you need, just so that you understand, this isn't a $50 trade, you need at least $1,000 to put this trade on. So I want you to write in $1,000 per contract, okay? For a one contract trade, you need $1,000 capital. So if you're out there and you're starting with, not $1,000, then this system may not be for you, right? You do need to identify that. So $1,000 per contract is what you're going to need. Many people, and usually some of the minimum account sizes that I would probably want somebody to have if they're going to start a system like this, 3,000 or 4,000. I think Tyler has mentioned 5,000 in the past. I know for a lot of investors who are going to move a chunk of cash into an income portfolio, they might start with 10K or 20K or whatever it is. Your capital is your capital, and those are discussions that we can have as coaches at some point. But you do need $1,000 to put on one contract if you're going to use this system. Second thing is we're going to teach you how to act as an insurance company. See, the basis of this, and I'm a believer in academics and writing and the way that I think. I'm a conclusion to evidence guy. I just come out and say what I think, and then I show people the evidence. Here's what you're going to do. You're going to trade iron condors and provide insurance to the market. Essentially, what you're doing here with this system is you're starting your own personal insurance company and collecting premium by selling these contracts. We're going to show you how that works tonight. We're going to use the fear of the market to generate that cash flow each month and show you how to generate cash flow regardless of experience. I can confidently say this, that if you're willing to work, and let me ask everybody out there, are you willing to work to earn this money? Because I'm going to show you how to make some money. Are you willing to put the work in? Because if you can't answer that and you're not fired up, I don't know if you're in the right meeting, okay? You got to put some work. Now, in my estimation, this system is one of the most complex ones that you could learn from a book. It is more complex. I'm not going to mince words about it. There are more components. But that's why you put the work in to perfect it and master it. From never trading options before, even if you're out there and you've never used this product and you don't have an account, I think you can go from exactly brand new to trading functionally in the market with at least one contract within 1 month. Now, if you're a veteran, you've already taken some courses or you've been around the markets, you could probably be ready for this within a week or two once you get through the course and kind of understand all the system. You could be completely up and running within a month to 2 months. There's no question in my mind that if you will put the work in and you will commit to it, you can get there. So this is not, and I think it's a real disservice to people when somebody comes out and say, hey, listen, here's a great idea, but it's going to be 2 years before you make any money. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying here's a great system. Here's something you can learn if you'll work. Now, it's got some complexity to it. But if you'll work, you can be up and running in the market within 1 or 2 months. That's my expectation. That's the expectation you have. Doesn't matter if you're brand new, if you've never used them. If you'll learn the details, you can do this. And that's where I love the narrow focus of this system. It's how you master and build confidence with one powerful system. It's not trying to do 100 things. It's doing one thing specifically. Insurance. I come from rural Utah. I grew up in a town of 2,000 people. There were more cows in the town I grew up in than women I could date. All right. But the family business that I actually had, Justice Insurance, we had a couple of different locations in those counties, and my mom and dad went into the insurance game 30, 40 years ago. I've always been around insurance. I understand the value of collecting premium, and doing all that kind of stuff. In fact, as an investor, if you look at some of the most consistent companies, they're insurance type companies. Options are contracts. Type that in the chat. Options are contracts. That's all an option is. See, option books can be 1,000 pages long, but don't make them complex. They don't have to be complex, okay? Options are contracts. And when you sell an option, you're collecting premium by taking on the obligation of a contract. Now, this is not the detail we're going to go in tonight. I'm going to make it simple because I believe in keeping it simple. I think you can learn more if you have it at a high level first. All we're doing in this system is we're becoming an insurance company. I want you to type in, I am the insurance company. I am the insurance company, because that's what you do when you sell an option. Now, here's the beauty of it. It is guaranteed by the market. It is processed through the Options Clearing Corporation. All you got to do is click the button. You don't have to go out and find somebody to buy the policy from you. All you got to do is sell it. And that's the beauty of the options market. You sell theta. Now, why does the market give us money for selling options? And what is the number one fear people have in the market? Let me ask you, what do you think the average person, when they have a conversation about the stock market, what is their fear? What would you guys guess? A crash, right? Hear it all the time. Well, what if the market crashes? I don't want to put my money in. I'll time it wrong. If I buy it right now, we're at the all-time high and it's going to crash. How often does the market crash? Okay. A bear market is defined by a 25% drawdown from the price. A 10% month over month sell-off would be a pretty aggressive sell-off. Let me ask you, does the market crash every year? No. In fact, what we know is that the market doesn't crash very often, but yet that is the fear people have. What you can do when you're the insurance provider in the market is you provide a solution to people's fear, okay? So the reason why this system works and why it's so good and so smart and such a smart way to approach income with options is that all you're doing is providing something that the market wants. You're giving liquidity and you're covering insurance in case there is a crash. This is the way it works. See, the average individual doesn't understand the stock market. They're just nervous about it. And so they price these options with premium built into them. In our expectation, what we've seen in the past, and as traders, we know this, options are overpriced. They tend to be a little bit overpriced. So the edge or the advantage that you as an individual have in the options market is to sell the options. Okay, insurance providers, or if you're going to do a system like this, what you're doing is you're selling options. That's the core philosophy here. So you're selling them to somebody who wants to buy them. When people invest in the stock market, the average return in the market's 8% a year over the course of 100 years. That's about 0.7% per month. Not a lot of great returns. It's better than the bond market, better than a savings account, but not great returns. In the last 360 months, dating all the way back to 1987, the market has only declined more than 10% in 4 of those months. Now that's 30 years, guys. In 30 years, we've only had 4 crashes month over month. Now, we've had bear markets and we have nasty headlines every day. We live in a world of Twitter and social media. Everybody's always talking about how the stock market's going to crash. And will it crash? Yes, it will at some point. But should you be afraid of it? No. You should capitalize on it. You should take advantage of it because you will provide that solution to the market's fear. This is why the system works. And if you think about it, this is a system that has only gone up 2 months out of the last 30 years as well. See, in an iron condor and in cash flow condors, our sweet spot, Our perfect scenario, the exact thing that we want, is for it to stay neutral in the middle. We don't want it to go up too far. We don't want it to go down too far. If the stock market goes up and down but kind of stays in the middle of a range, we make money. That's the philosophy behind how the system works, and we're going to act as the insurance provider. What do insurance companies do? Well, they collect a premium, okay? They sell policies to the customer. It doesn't necessarily mean that the customer uses it. Everybody out there, when you put your thinking caps on here for a minute and type in a form of insurance. What kind of insurance are popular or commonly used in the market? I know in my life, I got kids and a house. I got life insurance, health insurance, home insurance, car insurance, auto insurance. There's all different types of insurance. Let me just think about my truck. The last time I actually called in an insurance policy and made a claim on my truck, oh God, I don't think I ever have actually since I've owned it. I've owned it about 10, 11 years, right? Insurance policies usually just expire worthless and you got to buy them again, you know? That's the point of insurance. We don't want to have to use them. We're just getting them for a reason. Who is the smarter person in the transaction? Well, both people are. The person who buys the insurance policy is hedging themselves. The person who sells the insurance policy is collecting income to run their business. That's what we're going to end up doing. We're going to sell those policies even though we don't necessarily expect them to pay out. We're going to then pocket the monthly premiums on a month-over-month basis. Now, what I've seen with most Condors is on the capital that we need for the position, $1,000 for the trade, we're going to make somewhere between 10% return. Now, we're going to be clear about this, and I'm going to walk you through the details. That's not necessarily on the capital, all the capital you have in your account, but I want you to write in 10 to 15% ROI per trade, okay? 10 to 15% ROI per trade. So on your $1,000, you might make $100 or $1,200 or, $120 or $150. But that's your ROI expectation per trade. That's what an iron condor is all about, is we're going to build those positions to collect an income. We sell options that we believe will expire worthless. See, this whole thing is about passive income. One of my favorite things about trading is the day-to-day, kind of puzzle that is the market. I love that part of it. But guys, I get to work from home. I don't have a job. I don't work for anybody else. I run Tackle Trading. I run my accounts. I have all kinds of different entrepreneurial ventures, but I'm living the dream. I mean, literally, as I'm teaching this webinar, and I'll show you later, my two dogs are laying at my feet. My old Great Dane, she's 12 years old, and she's got a bandage on her leg because she just had surgery recently. And my boxer, these are my trading buddies. My wife and kids should be home by the time we're about done. We're going to have family dinner, So I don't have that job where I've got all the, every day where I got to go to work or something like that. So I can trade every day, but that's not where most people are. In my experience, most people who start the options market and want to come in and learn how to trade, they need, number one, to be able to do it within the busy schedule that they have at life, okay? Let me ask you a blunt question. How many of you guys feel busy, tired, stretched, don't have all the time in the world? Is that you? Is that sometimes where you're at? All right. Now, let me set proper expectations. To do this system, you need to spend about a month learning it in the videos and the mastermind groups. But after you get it down, you can do it with 2 to 3 hours, maybe even just 1 hour per month. I want you to write in 1 to 3 hours per month to trade this, okay? 1 to 3 hours per month. This is not an all-day job. You set it and you forget it, and it's what we call passive income. It does not take a lot of time to build the Condor. In fact, later in the webinar, I'm going to show, would you guys want to make sure we have a live example where I can show you how we do it inside a broker? We're going to do that at the end for sure. We will do that by the end of the webinar. So after my formal presentation, we'll go into the market. I'll go show you how to do this, okay? This is a passive income system. It should only take you a few minutes to build it. Once you get it down, it's kind of like a set it and forget it type of mindset. It is income. okay? And it doesn't take a lot of time. And this is where the secrets to trading really come in. There are 3 things I love about this system, and we're going to highlight them in 3 different components as we go through the webinar. We call them the 3 secrets of the cash flow condors. Secret number 1, it is high probability cash flow. Many people I know that are in my life, my family, my neighborhood. In fact, I was walking my dogs today, and I had a neighbor say, "Hey, Tim, you don't leave the house very often." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I work from home." And she said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, I sell options, and I'm a trader." She had no idea that anybody could even do that. See, before you find the market, the idea of a trader, you probably think you have to move to New York City or Chicago or San Francisco and work on a trading floor. There might be some image of a high-rise building in some major city where you work for some bank or some institution. It's not necessarily true. In fact, there is an income opportunity for every one of you out there right on your desk today, okay? If you learn how to do this correctly, you can do this for the rest of your life. If you learn how to do this correctly, you can now create an extra income with capital in the market through a passive cash flow system. That's a very, very powerful thing. Now, those of us who've traded for a long time, we all kind of just assume that everybody knows this. But it's amazing to me how many people just think of the stock market as Wall Street. They don't think of the stock market as men and women who are just living in their house and have an extra income, right? Because most people haven't been educated on this correctly. That's where we're going to start. And it does start with the options market. There are 2 types of options. And I want you, if you're taking notes tonight, go to a fresh sheet of your notes, and I want you to write down option essentials, okay? Option essentials. And we're going to teach what options are on a high level. I do not expect you to understand everything about options in one webinar, obviously. It's going to take you some time to learn how to do this, but everybody out there needs to simply follow the rules. There's 2 kinds of options. There's what we call a call option and a put option. A call option, has contract specifications. Put options have contract specifications. And if you pick up a book, it's going to be 800 pages long and make it seem like they're really, really complex and you need a PhD in math. Do you guys know what the KISS formula is? K-I-S-S? Here's my advice as somebody who's put in 30,000 hours in the options market. Just learn the rules. Keep it super simple. Do not overthink this. Don't try to become some mathematician when you're new. That's not going to help you make money anyway. The people that turn learning options and trading into an academic exercise, it's good to have the discipline and the drive to want to understand everything. I like that in a student. I'm like that as myself as a student. You don't need it. See, all a call option is the right to buy something, usually a stock or an index, some underlying product at a set price on a set date. So write those in your notes. A call option is the right to buy a stock at a set price or a set date, okay? Now, there are different parties to the option. A put option is the right to sell a stock at a set price or a set date. Now, I always say that it's just time, terms, and price. How much time is in that contract, what are the terms of that contract, and then what price do you get? You don't need to pass a series exam and get licensed in the market to be a trader. All you need to do is learn a system, open an account, and click some buttons, okay? Now, that part of it is where you have to trust the process, right? You have to trust the process, you have to take the rules, and you have to follow the rules. So let me get confirmation from everybody out there, because this is critical. If you break the rules, you're not following the system, and you can't expect the same results. For me to set proper expectations, I need you to confirm that you will follow the rules. I want you to type in the chat, Tim, I will follow the rules. I will follow the rules. Because when I say a rule about what stock, what price, or what date, that can't be broken. If the rule says 60 days, you can't do 5 days, because then you're completely changing the system. See, what you're doing here is you're coming in and you're getting a recipe book. This recipe book has been back tested. It has been designed. It has been built in a way to where you don't get to break it. You don't get to change it. Maybe when you've been trading as long as Tyler or Noah or myself, then you can start making your own systems. But when you're new, you come in, you find a coach, you find a mentor, and you just use their recipe. That's what it is. So when we're looking at the options, the details of those rules are going to come through what we call the option Greeks. There are 5 Greeks. The first Greek that we need to define is called delta. Delta determines the strike price. Write that down. That's a very important point. Delta determines the strike price. We're using the delta to assess the direction, the distance, and it will help us measure the probability of the option. See, the option Greeks are the mathematical components behind the rules. You don't have to do the formula, but you have to know what the delta is for. So let me ask everybody, I just gave it to you twice. What does the delta do for us? Why do we use the delta? In your estimation, in your own words, what is the purpose of the delta? Delta determines the strike price. It sets the probability. It sets the strike price. Just everybody type in strike price. Very good. Theta. Theta is measured as time decay. Okay. Now, when I say there's a theta rule, it's how many days we use in a contract. Now, theta sets the expiration. So type in theta equals expiration. So our delta determines our strike price. Our theta determines our expiration. So we're going to do a 10 delta, 60 days out. And we'll go through those details here in just a minute. That's not debatable, right? It just helps us set that. That's kind of the recipe of the book. Vega assesses volatility impacts. Gamma assesses the velocity of delta, and rho factors in how interest rate changes can affect the option value. 3, 4, and 5, cross them out. You do not need them, okay? Not as a new trader. There's no question. The only 2 that you need to learn are delta and theta in your first, I would say, year of trading. Are the other ones great? You bet. Vega would be next. Gamma would be last. Rho doesn't even matter to most people, okay? So we're going to focus on delta and theta as we're building our condors and as we're learning how to do cash flow. And the philosophy behind the system, see, is really about the theta. It's what we call a theta trade because it's a time-based trade. See, the reason why you make money and how you make money is just simply time passing. Guys, when you buy car insurance, say you get 2-month policy. You drive around, you drive to work every day, you never wreck your car, nothing happens. Time passed, you never even used it. In 2 months, you got to pay the insurance company more money, right? That's all this is. It's a contract. So when you sell car insurance, you just don't want them to get into a wreck. That's what you're doing, right? It's a time-based trade. Now, there's 2 ways you can measure theta. If you buy an option, you're going to have negative theta. We don't want to buy options. See, suckers buy options, in general, and sometimes speculators buy options, right? It's a directional way to trade. Professional traders sell options. That doesn't mean every time. I bought an option today on one trade, right? When I was playing it directionally. I saw an opportunity on Nike. I came in and bought a call option. I then turned it into something else later, but that's a different system. If all you want to do is learn how to trade options with confidence and make a consistent second income or first income in your life, sell options. The philosophy behind cash flow condors is to sell, period. End of sentence. That's what theta is all about. We sell options because you are going to treat this like a pro. You are going to treat it with the math on your side, and you're going to build your system with an edge. That's where time decay comes in. See, when we sell the premium in the market, we collect it, they put it in our account, we get to keep it over time as the time passes. That's the nature of theta and time decay. This graph right here explains, and let me bring it back here, the options theoretical price over time. See, in this system, we usually sell it 60 days out. Okay, around 65 days is the sweet spot and is where we do the mastermind groups. So when you're 65 days until expiration, you go out and you build your iron condor in the market. Over time, the value of that option, and we have tracked this and we know what the expectations are because there's decades of data on this kind of stuff. And the RUT condors have been, back tested for over a decade. We know that as the days tick by, 60, 55, 50, 45, 40, all the way down to zero, the value of the option drifts down over time. And our job, once we have gotten the premium out of the market, is to lock that profit in and move into our next trade. Guys, we're just here to learn how to make an income, you know, and that's the nature of it. We're using the math in the market and the expectation in the market to build a system that will help us do that, okay? And that's the core philosophy behind the system. Most people I know probably just never even knew that you could do that in the market. I mean, the perception of the market is that trading is for people who want to gamble. That's just crazy. Yeah, I'm sure there are a lot of people who do that. But real trading by real professionals, it's just a business. It's just math. You know, we go in, we run our system, we click the buttons that we're supposed to, and we move on. See, when you open up a brokerage account, you're going to come to an interface that's going to look very similar to this. You're going to have strike prices down the middle. You're going to have things like theta and the midpoint and the bid and the ask. Your job is to learn how to read the call side and read the put side, okay? And we'll go do one of these in just a few minutes. In your system, we want to go in and build a bear call spread on the call side and build a bull put spread on the put side. And let's make sure that we're setting proper expectations. How many of you guys are a little bit intimidated by all the numbers, all the math, and kind of just the new nature of this? It's okay. It's very normal. If you're brand new and you don't feel that a little bit, you know, you should have equal parts intimidation, but also equal parts excitement, okay? Of course, that's normal. I've been teaching this stuff for a long time. Don't be intimidated. If you believe in yourself that with clear instruction, clear coaching, and help from a veteran team that you can learn something, type in, "Yes, I can" in the chat. If you believe in yourself, because it's okay if you're intimidated, but you got to have the confidence to know you can learn something too. So yes, you can. I know that you can. I know there's a lot of numbers right there in front of you, but we're going to break them down one component at a time so that you know how to execute that recipe, so that you know how to build that system, okay? And that's where the call and put side comes in. The strike prices will be down the middle. Now, when you're looking at an option chain, there will be a column for theta. The expiration will be listed where it will say like October 19 of 2018. Your job when you go in and build the Condors is to build that 65-day option, you know, so you have to go and find the appropriate expiration. So in this order of how we build them, we select the expiration first and then the strike prices within that expiration. There are a lot of things that go into that, and that's why there are so many different, that's why it takes time to learn this, you know. You're not going to be an expert after one session. That's where the 8 hours of videos come in on the system, and why we have a mastermind group every month that you're going to attend and be a part of as you do this. Now, delta determines the strike price. We talked about that earlier. It also sets the probability. In this system, we are going to use a 0.10 delta. Type in 0.10 delta in the chat. And as you type that in, I see a couple of different people putting in a few questions, a couple of hands up. Make sure you're typing in your questions in the chat, you know, as we go, for sure. Now, if we have a 0.10 delta, that helps us know that we have a 90% probability. See, it's just a function of the math, okay? Type in 90% probability, 90% probability. By using a low delta, we are increasing our odds of success. Now, what I have seen and what I know from this system, over the course of any average year, you're going to have 12 trades, okay? So type in 12 trades per year. Now, there can be a little bit more than that, and you can actually take a month off if there's something going on you wanted to, but you should trade it every month, right? Out of the 12 trades, you're most likely going to be correct in the system 10 or 11 times per year. So type in 11 wins, 1 loss. 11 wins, 1 loss. Or 10 wins, 2 losses. That's when I'm thinking about a year and I'm trying to teach this to a group of people like I'm doing here tonight, that's what I usually will show them. Now, it's possible you might have a 9 and 3 year. Heck, we don't know the future. There's nothing magic I know that you guys don't know. I don't know what the market's going to do next month or next year. I'm just trading the numbers. By using low delta, I know I should be right. Now, there have been many years where you were 12 and 0. You know, you were the 1972 Dolphins, you know, or the 85 Bears. You know, you had a real big winning percentage. So it's a consistently winning system is what it does. And that's because of what the delta measures. Delta measures the probability of an option expiring worthless. Now, when you think about that, when you come into the option chain, none of that math is really what we care about. We're only using the delta in our rules. Now, it's good to know that a mentor or a coach, you know, helps us understand the probability. That helps my confidence when I'm new. But really, the value of our delta rule is it tells you what button to click. If you know that we're going to do a 10 delta, then all you got to do is come into the market, find the 10 delta, and now you know which strike price to pick. It's very clear. There's no confusion. It's just about learning that component and executing that component. That's where the value of delta comes in. On the call side, we do a 10 delta, and on the put side, we do a 10 delta. So we're using that low delta on both sides. Nature of the iron condor trade. There are 4 different components that go into the trade. Delta helps us set which one to execute as we're building it. Now, let's talk about some of these details. In terms of the contract, THETA rule is 60 days, okay? 60 to 65 days. The delta rule is 10 delta. Once you have those 2 rules, you'll know the basic composition of how it works. Now, there's more detail to it. Obviously, you got to learn order entry, the interface. You got to practice. You got to learn how to get a fill. You got to learn how to put a stop loss on and manage it. There's no question there's more complexity to it. But you can build an iron condor after tonight. Now, do you know how to do the system after tonight? Of course not, you know, because there's all those other variables. My thing is, if you are a go-getter, within 1 week, you should know the system. You should be able to go through all the videos and the content. And within 1 to 3 months, you should feel very, very confident and have the executable income in your business, right? Now, if you got a little bit more time, maybe it takes a month to learn the system, but you can put a trade on after tonight's webinar. There's no doubt. Managing that trade and understanding the complexity of the trade, that's why it does take a little bit of time. But our THETA rule is 60 days and our delta rule is 10 delta. And that's where, you know, just setting up the terms are very, very important. Secret number 2, we're going to show you how to master this and your confidence with just one strategy. Anybody out there ever read an option book? You know, gone and tried to learn options through a book, something like that? I tell you, the very first book I ever picked up was called Options as a Strategic Investment. You probably saw my bookshelf behind me when I started my video. I'm a reader. I'm a self-studier. I love reading new stuff. The very first book I ever read was 1,000 pages long. There were hundreds of strategies in there. You know, I thought that's what I had to do. I have to learn all the different recipes. Guys, if I ever talk to a student, you know, or I talk to a trader and I feel like they're trying to do too much, one of the first things I do as a coach is narrow their focus. Now, in my personal trading business, I trade a lot of different strategies. I do a lot of different things. I've been doing this 12 years and 30,000 hours, you know. This is my profession. This is what I do, and I've been doing it for a long time. If you're new and you just want to get some confidence and make some money, focus on perfecting something. There's an old phrase that I heard my dad say all the time. He's a jack of all trades, you know, and that was almost thought of as a good thing. Being a jack of all trades is not necessarily a good thing. It might be cool for your buddies to be able to say, oh yeah, you can do a lot of stuff. In the market, I want to be the master of something, okay? And I want you to focus and perfect something. You need a narrow focus. You need to make sure that you've got your energy pointed in one direction. If you've tried trading in the past but really never perfected something, this system is, and this is very powerful. Master one thing. And I love the Iron Condor because of the nature of how this system works. And so you don't have to do everything. You don't have to learn 100 strategies. Now, for many of you out there, and I know many of the people in this room, I'm looking up and down the list. I know how some of you guys have learned how to swing trade and you know how to do covered calls, or you know how to do a naked put option or something like that, that's okay. I'm not saying you can't do those things. But if you're out there and thinking, Tim, I've always wanted to do this, but I never really found the confidence, perfect something first, one thing at a time, take it one step at a time. And I think the Iron Condor is perfect. It's that one powerful strategy. See, the Condor has a lot of characteristics that are beautiful. It's 4 different trades that make one trade, okay? So you have to buy a call and sell a call, and buy a put and sell a put. It's a neutral trade. It capitalizes on and it exploits a characteristic in the market where they don't make you put twice the money in. So you get to make those trades for the cost of one trade because of the nature of how the market works. It has limited risk. It is high probability, it's consistent, and it doesn't require an everyday management to be perfect at it. You take it one component at a time. Terms of the deal, okay? You're going to use a system called RUT. Type in RUT in the chat. Everybody pop that in real quick, RUT. You don't want to do these on individual stocks. That's not the system. You're not going to try to find some company on the NASDAQ 100 or some company in the news. The RUT is the Russell 2000 index. By using an index, you have the safety in doing it on more than one company, but in one trade. There are specific advantages to that. And it's part of what Tyler teaches when he's teaching the videos. But essentially, it is a cash-settled European option that has contract benefits, and there are even some tax benefits depending on how you do it. It's the system. No debate. We're not here to discuss things. We're here to teach things, okay? So RUT is the instrument you're going to use. We're going to combine a bull put and a bear call together. 60 days until expiration is the expiration theta rule that we're going to use. And then we're going to use a 0.10 delta, which gives us a 90% probability of profit. Now take a moment, write those rules down. RUT, bull put, bear call, 60 days, and 0.10 delta. That's how you build them. That's Mama's recipe book right there. Actually, Tyler's recipe book right there, I should say. Now, if I ever talk to a trader and they end up coming back to me saying, hey, Tim, I think I'm going to try a 20 delta or a 5 delta, I usually back them down and say, listen, that's not what you do. Your job is simply to execute and follow the rules. A bull put spread is a bullish strategy. By using it with a bearish strategy, we're building a neutral strategy. Now, there are 4 components that go into doing this. And the way that I've always explained it, the best way I can explain it, it's more complicated to build it and it's less complicated to manage it. So the real heavy lifting comes in learning how to do it correctly and build it up front. Once you've got the system in there with your stop losses and your orders and all that, it shouldn't take a lot of time. And those of you out there who are already trading Condors, because I know we have many people who are already doing this system. You tell me, guys, does it take a lot of time month to month to put the Iron Condor on? Those of you who are already trading our Condors? Not really, You just go out there, you execute, you click a few buttons, you build the Condor into the window. That's it, right? And so it's a 2 to 3 hour a month expectation from what I've found. The bull put spread is on the bottom, okay? And when you build a bull put spread, there's only 3 things that can happen on the stock. If it goes up, you make money. If it goes nowhere, you make money. And if it goes down, you lose money. We combine that with a bear call spread on the top, whereas if it goes down, we make money. It goes nowhere, we make money. And if it goes up, we lose money. But remember, we're doing these together. That's what an Iron Condor is. Now, you'll notice 2 orange lines on the chart in front of you. I want you to type in profit window. That's the way I would explain it. Profit window. When you do this with a bull put and a bear call, you're going to make money as long as it stays anywhere in between those orange lines. So the expectation from the trade is if it goes down, you lose. If it goes anywhere in the profit window, you'll make money. And if it goes up too far, you'll lose. But would have to go all the way to the orange line when we're setting the trade up. So anywhere between 1550 and 1820 would have made money in this example. If it goes beyond 1820 at expiration or below 1550 at expiration, and that changes month by month, that's where we would get a stop loss order executed and we would lose in that situation. Let's talk money here for a minute. To do one of these, you need $1,000, okay? Your cost would be 900, you know, in total amount of risk that you're taking theoretically in the trade. The credit is 100 because the probability is 80 to 90%. We then know that we're going to be right most often, and our return will be 11.1% in this example. Now, on a month-by-month basis, you might actually pick up 120 or 140 or 130. Those numbers change in the market, but the minimum credit for you to want to do this trade is 100 per contract, okay? So if you're doing $1,000, you need to make $100 minimum. So type in $100 credit minimum, $100 credit minimum. If for whatever reason you go into the market and it's only giving you 70 or $80, it's telling you you should not take the trade that month until you get $100. So your minimum credit that you want to build is $100 from that position, okay? That's where when we look at a trade window, we're going to calculate that information. Let's talk about secret number 3. You only got to do one of these. Now, how many contracts you put in, that's up to you. You can run an entire portfolio just doing condors, you know. And if you have really advanced hedging techniques and you understand how to beta weight and delta hedge and all that stuff, you've been doing it for years like Tyler, you can get a lot of your capital in the market. Now, for a lot of traders, you're going to start in paper trading. You want to do one in virtual first, right? Obviously, learn how to practice it in a paper environment. And then when you get into live market, maybe just do one contract. And then over time, as you learn the complexity, you pick up more and more and more as you go. But you don't have to make 100 trades a month. You don't have to find a new stock every day. You simply build the trade as it's designed. You set it and forget it, okay? That's the nature of how this works, what I love about the condors for anybody. This is my thing. Even if you don't care about stock market, I think condor is just a common sense way to build an income for your life. Remember, I mean, the goal of trading and investing is to make money and to get the maximum outcome with the minimum amount of effort and time. If you can trade for 2 or 3 hours a month just managing a cash flow system and still pick up 10, 11, 12%, I mean, that's a pretty incredible system. And that's what condors are all about. And by the way, we've been trading this with our teams for a long time. This is not the first time we've done this webinar. On our Condors team, we have hundreds of traders from around the country, probably over 1,000, I would guess, who've already gone through and are a part of this community. There are a lot of people out there that were just like you at some point in the past. We presented this webinar. They became a part of the Condors. They've been trading it. In fact, I recently had an interview with one of my students who was talking about her experiences, and we did that on our podcast. And that was really powerful to talk. And I've had these conversations with you guys. You veterans out there that know about condors, I mean, we've been doing this month over month over month. Now, outside of our community, Tyler and myself and the coaches, we've been trading this kind of stuff for over a decade, you know, and so we know what the results are. In 2016 and 17, I want to show you some of the results that would have come in had you built this system and followed the rules. In October of 2016, exactly 2 years ago, think about what you're doing 2 years ago. You know, if this was 2016 and you were watching a webinar like this and you joined a trading community and you learned a system, these would have been your results. In October, you put the trade on, you would have made 11%. And let me ask everybody out there, is 11% in a month a good return? It's an incredible return. I mean, come on. You know, it's not doubling or tripling your money, but that's not what the market can bear. That's an incredible return. Now, if you go out there and you put the trade on, you make 11%, you're going to feel pretty good. Okay? Put the trade on in November, you make 13%. So you would have even made a little bit more money in November. Now, after 2 months, how are you feeling? Are you feeling pretty good? let's use some hypotheticals. Let's say that you have a $10,000 position, and in October you made $1,100, and in November you make $1,300. You're probably feeling real great. You're feeling outstanding. But here's what happened. President Trump was elected in November of 2016, and the market went crazy. And in December, you would have lost. Okay. In December, you would have lost 48% on your position. Now, this is where, if you're watching this and you're paying attention, this is where you will know this, that tackle trading is different. Okay, there's no doubt about it. Those of you who are my veteran pro members, and if you've been in our community for a long time, type in Team Tackle. Because you guys know us. Those of you who know us know that we are unique, we're amazing, and I don't even mince words or hesitate saying that, because we don't pull punches. We just try to help people. We try to teach people, okay? We don't ever come out and say, oh, you're only going to make money and you're only going to get rich, like some crazy companies out there. We're here as a company to provide real education to people who want to do it. See, in 2016 in December, you would have taken one right in the nose. The market would have hurt you. There's no doubt about it. The market took off, it would have stopped out, and the position would have lost money. Now, there is something that you need to learn about this system. You can't use all the cash you have. Guys, if you put $10,000 into an account, you're not going to put $10,000 in the trade. Think about it. If you had $10,000 in your account and you put all $10,000 in the trade to try to get the most money you could, you would have taken a $4,800 hit. That's too much. You're going to trade within the rules. Type in position sizing and money management. This is critical. If you have a desire to be a real trader, follow the rules. Position sizing and money management. Out of the money that you have available to trade, you're going to use a portion of your trade. Okay? You got 10 grand in the account, you might use 2 or 3,000. Most traders, a 20% position size relative to the account size is about right. You know, so type in 20% in the chat. If you get upwards of 70, 80, or 100%, you better be an expert at hedging. And that's not my expectation for a beginner. You might use 30%, but really follow what Tyler teaches you in those rules. See, guys, we want you to do this for the rest of your life. We want you to be going out there and saying, hey, guys, listen, I found this company, Tackle Trading, and they showed me how to trade iron condors, and they showed me the exact rules on how to do it, and they've been there helping me do it. And guess what? It works, because we know that it does. If you follow the rules and the design, you can learn how to do this and you can execute it. Now, you're going to take a loss. Remember what I said earlier. In a given year, you're going to have one loss, maybe two, right? But that needs to be just a portion of your portfolio so that you can sustain the hit and move into the next month. Now, this is where beginners fail themselves. People who try to learn to do everything on their own and refuse to ask for help, and they call themselves, you know, like do-it-yourselfers or whatnot. I'm a do-it-yourselfer. I like working on projects. Not when it comes to my money, you know. If you're out there on your own and you take a big hit in the market, or you had a loss in the market, or something happened you didn't understand, a very common response that people have is to quit that system. I don't ever want you to quit. See, what you're going to do, like we did in December of 2016, is you're going to talk to a coach, or you're going to attend the mastermind group, or you're going to put a comment into our community forums, or you're going to ask for help. And somebody's going to give you context and say, yeah, you know what? That's what happens. But this is what you need to do. You need to follow the system rules and put it on again the next month. Because in January, you would have made 14%. In February, you would have made 12%. And in March, you would have made 12%. See, I don't know if and when that loss is going to happen. I have no idea. I know as much about the future as you do. But what I do know is that if I follow the system by design, I have an expectation of making money over time. So you make 10 or 11, you make 13, you make 14, you make 12, you make 12, you had the one loss. It's never fun to lose money, but that's part of the system. That's part of probability, okay? And then you keep pushing and you make money, 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 you make money. Over the course of any 12 months, you should make money most of the time. Now, by the way, if you're thinking out there, okay, Tim, I love this. I want to do it. How many of you guys would love to have a system where you make money 10 or 11 months out of the year? Now, by the way, look at the relationship of reward to risk. When you make money, you make 10, 11, 12%. When you lose money, you're going to take a bigger hit. So it's what we call an inverse reward to risk ratio. On a chart, this is what it's going to look like. You put the trade on, and as long as it stays in your profit window, you make money. You make money. In this example, these were the actual results you would have had during that period. During that Trump election, boom, it would have stopped you out. See, if the price of the market goes outside of your profit window, you end up losing on that position. But if you know that you have a good system that's been back tested, designed, and you got the support and help of people to make sure you execute it, you just keep putting it on. You trade, 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 you trade. You're going to be consistently profitable doing this. Now, when you lose, I have no idea. How much you lose, it should be within a system's range, and we should know how to assess it. There's so many things we can control, okay? And we can control the position sizing. We can control our emotions. We can control our response. We can control all of those things. We can't control the outcome. We just know what the probability is, and that's where this consistent cash flow system works. Now, here's the thing. You know, I'm telling you, I love this stuff. You know, I mean, trading is, it is the most amazing thing that's ever happened in my life, right? It is the most amazing thing that has ever happened in my life. Having been a part of the community and being a coach and an instructor, I have big goals for my life. I have big goals for you guys. You know, I'm so proud of Tackle Trading for many, many reasons. We just tell it to you the right way. There's a lot of different things you can do in the market. And by the way, this isn't our only system. This is the perfect system for somebody who wants an income but doesn't have a lot of time, and they want to just have the confidence to know how to do it, okay? That's where Condors come in. You know, it's going to be one of those inverse reward to risk systems, and I know it works. Guys, it works. It will make you money, you know. It will also have the 1 month where you lose money, and that's where you have to follow rules. But over time, it will help. The value of our community is that we're here to help you. So if and when you run into those situations, you have the support group, you have the team, you have an entire group of people trading the same system with the same rules that we all collaborate together, and we call that a mastermind group. So what have you learned? You've learned that this takes one trade a month. It's an insurance company type model. It's what we call a cash flow system, okay? It doesn't matter if you're brand new. I do not believe that if you were brand new, you would know how to do it coming out of this event, but that's not what the purpose of this event is. See, really my goal when I come in here is to teach you the value in the system. And whether you see that and identify that value or not and want to do it, that's really the purpose of this webinar, is to promote that system. You know, but that's what it is. Even if you're brand new, you can do this. It's one system, and it allows you to create wealth through compounding. Now, by the way, if you are learning tonight, type in the word learning in the chat. I need everybody to put something in the chat right now. Type in the word learning. I want to know if we're out there, we're watching. And make sure you click inside Zoom where it says to. Check that it says all panelists and attendees. Because if you don't have it say all panelists and attendees, then I don't see it. Right? Yeah, very good. You bet. All right, Condors. Now, what are the real benefits of this thing? It's cash flow consistently. It's pretty easy. You know, I make it complex. And some of that I do on purpose. I don't want you to think that you don't have to work at all, right? I mean, anything in life, you have to put the time in. And I'm the kind of person, I am my father's son. Me and my brother Matt, if you ever follow us, you know us at all, you know that we're pretty straight shooters, right? So it is easy. I don't think any of the stuff that you do when you do it correctly is all that complex. Anybody can learn the market, but it does take some time. If you'll follow the system, it's easy. It is relatively safe. It can be very dangerous, by the way. If you go out and put every bit of your capital into one trade without knowing how to manage it, you should not do this. If you want to go out into the market and just start putting money in the market without actually using the system or learning the details, don't do it. It doesn't have to be for you, right? It's not for everybody. See, it's safe if you'll follow the rules. It's safe if you money manage correctly, if you design it correctly, if you know how to take the stop loss, and if you move on and trade it every month. Okay, that's where the safety comes. The safety comes in numbers. And really, it's all about management. You know, how to hedge it, how to put a stop loss in, how to enter a complex order in your brokerage account, which takes some time to learn that. Those management secrets, I mean, that's really the important part of it. And you don't really need a lot of experience to do this. So it's a beautiful system in that regard. Okay, it's the right system, the right people. Tackle trading, this is what we do. Now, I love this next image. It's one of my favorite things. It's our Condors logo, right? In fact, I've downloaded that and put it on my desktop. I thought it was the coolest thing. And by the way, it wasn't Tyler who did that. It was our man Christian Sisson, who, by the way, he from all the way in Bergamo, Italy. He is still joining us at about 4 o'clock in the morning. I saw his name in the list. Everybody say, great job, Christian. The visuals on this are just beautifully done, Christian, and you are a very talented man, and you've been my student for a long time. You know, I really am proud of you. I think you did a wonderful job with all of this. So great job on this. I love that logo that we have here for our Condors. Yeah, it's high probability, passive income with confidence. Now, what I want to do next, and I'm looking at my clock here, and I'm kind of setting the expectations. We've been about an hour in the webinar. You know, we did about a 5-minute intro, so we've got about 20 minutes left. And what I want to do is give you the offer, tell you what the system is, you know, in terms of the cost and what it contains and all that. And then I want to go into the market and show you a live example of how to do the system, okay? And would you guys want a live example, by the way? Would that help kind of cement some of the concepts we've talked about tonight? Would it be beneficial to see how it works? Okay, good. Now, the real power doesn't come in just making the money one time. The real power in investing comes from compounding the value of those returns over time to build your accounts and build your portfolio and build your wealth through profits. And we will show you a compounding example as well. If you purchase this system, if you buy the premium system from Tackle Trading, we have it for retail price all the time. We put that on the site. Tonight we have a discount, and that discount has a window to it. Inside the system, and I want you to take some notes on this so you understand clearly what the offer is. If you have an interest in learning this, you will need to purchase the course, okay? We do as much as we can in a webinar like this, but the reality is, guys, there's more detail to it than this, and you have to learn all of those details. There's 6 hours of video training inside the system. So it's a 6-hour course. Somebody in the chat type in 6-hour video course. Now that's one part of it. That's the core meat of the system, is that you're going to learn all the different details. Those videos are broken down into modules. Module 1 will be orientation. Module 2 will be how to build the strategy, going through the details with video example that you can pause and rewind. And by the way, you can watch this for your entire life. You have lifetime access when you buy a system from us. That strategy foundation is 2 modules, module 2 and module 3, how to construct it, how to position size it, how to build it. Then we have trade walkthroughs that show you the order entry, the minimum detail that you're going to need to build it out. Everything is done detail by detail and component. An entire module on risk management, an entire module on hedging, volatility, some tips and tricks on things that might happen as they come up, and then a trade tracker on how to keep a journal of your results and your records. You got to treat this like a business, and you do need to journal your trades each and every month. There's going to be a PDF manual that comes with it, and then you're going to test your knowledge with interactive quizzes. Now, I just got a private message here saying my brother popped in. I know he had to go to the airport tonight, but I want to say hi. Where's Matt? There he is. And Matt, when you're ready, we'll bring you in here in just a minute. And I think you should have panelist rights, and I brought you up here. Everybody say hello to Matt, my brother, who popped in here to kind of promote and help us understand what the system's all about as well. Now, this is what you're purchasing, okay? This is what you're purchasing. Now, how many of you guys out there have already gotten value from tackle trading in the past? How many of you guys, and Matt, that you've got that set on private message, so make sure you click on all panelists and attendees. How many of you guys have been a part of tackle trading before? Okay. Team Tackle, one of our veterans, one of our pros. Tiago, you do a great job. You know, obviously, Tiago, it was great to meet you a couple years ago, and I've been very impressed. Octavio, you know, you've been a veteran member of our community here for several months. I think probably 6 months or so, I believe. Whitney's been with our community for years. I mentored Whitney years ago. Yeah. So I already know you're going to love it. Okay. And there's many components on that I'm going to back that up with. Okay. I know you're going to love it. Number one, if you want to purchase the system, it's tackletrading.com, get Condors. Now, Cameron, if you can get that link and pop it in the chat for me, that would be great. Find that link, tackletrading.com/get-condors. Now, in the premium Condor system, you're going to have all of those videos. That's a part of it, but that's not the only part of it, right? We actually have a monthly mastermind group. Now, just like tonight's session, it will be a live webinar where you get to come in and attend it with Tyler Craig, who's the mentor and the architect of the system. And he's going to spend the time with you guys building that month's trades, talking about management ideas, and helping you guys understand what's going on. So, and by the way, those mastermind groups you're going to have access to forever. That's lifetime access to the mastermind groups and the premium Condors system. So the get-condors, tackletrading.com, get-condors is what you're going to be doing. And let's see here. Actually, 1 second there, man. I'm going to find that link proper. That didn't hyperlink in. I have to minimize my Zoom window and come back to it. Okay, now as I'm going through this so that you guys can see where it is you would purchase this, and you know, that's what it is. Let's see, let me find my chat. This is the direct link, okay? The tackletrading.com, get Condors. So if you have interest in this system, and if you want to be a part of Team Tackle, and if you want to be a part of the Condor system, that's the web page you're going to go to. Monthly mastermind groups each month. Our next one we're going to be doing is on October 24th at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. And that gives you the month to really learn the system, go through all the videos. And by the way, between now and then, we have live onboarding webinars to help you get acclimated to how to use the videos and how to learn how to do the system and all that kind of stuff. Your next mastermind group will be October 24th for those of you who do purchase this system and become a part of that community. You're going to join Tyler Craig every month as we do that. And probably the most amazing thing about it, and my brother Matt designed this part of the offer, because when we sell or when we promote something to people, guys, we back it up and we make sure that we're going to put the value and the time in to help you, you know, and so you're going to have lifetime access to those mastermind groups. Every month for as long as you're a part of our community and as long as you're a trader, come and join us during those mastermind groups with our system designers and our teachers and our coaches. And that's really pretty incredible if you think about it. tackletrading.com/get-condors. Now, the offer, okay? You're going to have the video series, the manual, the mastermind group. We retail this system at $1,295. And by the way, many people, you know, a course like this would be 5 times, 10 times that. Tonight, we're giving it $500 off. So tonight's cost, and for the duration of the promotional window, it's $795. Now, you need the promo code to make sure you get that. And I will show you how that works here in a minute. The promo code is Condors so that you're getting the $500 off. And make sure you fill that form out correctly. That's what it is we're doing here at Tackle Trading. Guys, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go live and build an example, you know, but it's pretty awesome actually. And Matt, why don't you come on in here for a minute? If you got a mic there, young man.
Yeah, I got a mic. How you doing, Tim?
Holy cow, I'm gassed. I got to tell you, I love it.
You're gassed. You're
Not
gassed.
really. I'm fired up.
I thought you had a week of speaking. You could go a whole week without taking a breath.
Well, yeah, but you need a glass of water in between that. I
You
do
do,
have a week.
or some wine. Wine might work there as well. But no, it's wonderful to be here, guys, with everybody. Sorry I couldn't be here a little earlier. I see many of our pro members over there that do already have access to cash flow condors in this specific system. So you guys already are very familiar with what we do in those mastermind groups and watching the videos and so on and so forth. This is a system that we've been trading for years and years and years. However, we really kind of designed it specifically, from an iron condor perspective, specifically to the Russell 2000. From a back testing perspective, percentage, monthly percentage movements and whatnot, the Russell 2000 was really kind of the go-to market index for this. And it's such a wonderful system. Tim, over the last 3 months, it's been unsuccessful. Most of the time it works out. And it's just so good to have monthly cash flow coming into you. Even if you start with a little bit of money or a lot of money with something like cash flow condors, what happens is what you build into down the road through the compounding action and everything like that. So it's a system that can be for absolutely everybody, regardless of your educational level or your trading level, from a newbie trader to the veteran. This system is for you. Number one, we like to call it a strategy in a box to a certain extent, where you have all the rules, all the management, and then you get professional help in applying that on a monthly basis. And that is very, very unlike what a lot of other educational firms do. So in terms of this, guys, this for me is a no-brainer. The cost of $7.95, that is nothing compared to what the quality of this education is and the effort that is being put into this. Like we've said for a very, very, very long time here at Tackle, guys, we're all about the masses. We're all about making sure quality education, quality community, quality trading, quality picks, everything we do at Tackle is for you guys. And it's such a pleasure to be with you. And I hope you guys join us with that Cashflow Condor team, and you're there with the mastermind group of Tyler on the 24th. It's a great, great opportunity.
And the reality is, it's worth every penny for many, many different reasons, and I'm excited about it. I know condors are great, and I'm looking up and down our list of people here, Matt. I know we got a lot of veterans, but we got a lot of new people as well. When I was talking earlier and I asked for people, how long you've been with Tackle Trading, how much experience you have, I'd say a third of the group are within the first month of getting to know Team Tackle here, and probably 2/3 of the group have been veterans. They've been around for a long time as well. So it's really cool to see our veteran traders come together with our new traders and really promote something that we know can help people build some cash flow.
Well, and it's true. Let me answer Chris's question. Chris, that's an absolutely great question. In Options 1, a legacy course that, for those of you with legacy education, it's an amazing course teaching, bear calls, bull puts, and what you're doing on those types of strategies, Chris, you're basically slightly directional. And because you're slightly directional, you can do a higher delta on that. So if I'm just doing a bull put, I have a slightly bullish, bias on that. I can be a little bit more aggressive with the delta I'm selling. But in something like a neutral base cash flow condor system, if you sell at 0.50 delta, what's going to happen is you're just going to have management nightmares. We want to sell deep out of the money options. We don't want to ever have to touch this. We don't want to think about it. At the end of the day, I just want cash flow coming into us, guys. And I want you to think about something, and Tim's going to walk you through this. Guys, when you're talking about even just one contract and getting paid $100 a month, let me ask you guys, how many of you could use an extra $100 a month? Just $100 a month. Would that help you out? Okay. What about $200 a month? Would that help you out? If you got $200 a month, or $300 or $400 or $500, it doesn't matter, guys. If you need $100 a month extra cash flow, do one contract. You need $200, 2 contracts, $300, 3 contracts, and so forth, and so on and so forth. This system is something that can help you in your everyday life. This system is something that not only can help you understand how to trade this specific system, but going back to Chris, your original question, this is also a system that can help you apply those same type of management techniques on other strategies, like single bear calls or bull puts or whatever the case is. But the true beauty in the system is the rules. There is no guesswork. There's no figuring out on your own. Here are the rules. This is what you do to apply them. This is your cash flow. This is your ROI. This is where you put your stop losses. It's a strategy and a system in a box, and that is a beautiful thing.
So let's do this here, guys. And, when we started, I wanted to make sure we're setting the time expectation. We are still on time. We're on track here. We talked about 90 minutes. So for the next thing I want to do here is I want everybody just to make sure that you click on the link in the chat so that you have access to the page that I'm looking at as well. And then I'm going to go through some examples. When you get here, and I want to demonstrate this, when you click the buy now, and there's a bunch of details on what we've talked about here tonight on that page like you would expect, down here in the order form, make sure you put in the word Condors. And as I zoom this in, I'll show you what will happen. So when you put in the discount code, it will go from $12.95 down to $7.95, okay? So that way you make sure that you get that discount. Now that will give you, once you purchase, you'll have a receipt email come to your email. You'll have your username, password if you're not already a logged in member of Tackle Trading. And this email address, very important, team@Tackle Trading is a great way to get customer support or help on that. But that's all you'll need to do. Type in Condors, you'll get the discount. You'll get everything we've talked about here tonight, okay? Make sure that you do that. Now with a few minutes, I want to go and build an example. That's one thing that we talked about. Now, I use thinkorswim as my brokerage software, and there's a learning curve to any brokerage software. To be able to trade this, you will need a broker. You will need money in the broker at some point. Doesn't have to happen tomorrow, but you also need to have access to options, and that's where you come in here. Now, there's several steps I want to go through. Up on the top left, you'll find where it says RUT. Inside the option chain, the very first step that you take is to find the expiration here. Now, our rule is to go more than 60 days. So if you look here in parentheses, that's going to put us at the 65-day option. Type in 65-day option here in the chat. Let's make sure we're all on the same page. 65-day option. And your job, like Matt said, is you do not break the rules. You follow the rules. You go in specifically and you click based on what those rules are. When you come in here, now there's a lot of numbers like we talked about, and there is a learning curve to that, but we're going to use what's called a 0.10 delta. Coming down here, here's my 0.10 for a put side. I'm going to build a bear call spread using a 10-point window, okay? And on the call side, let me do this one leg at a time. Actually, 1530, Maddie, is probably what our rule would be right there. And then on the call side, we're going to come down here, and we're going to use a 10 delta for the call as well. So everybody in the chat, type in 10 delta option. So that delta determines which one you click. You go through a sea of madness, all those numbers, and you know which one to find. So the 10 delta determines the option. We then click here, we click here, and this builds our iron condor. Now, the risk profile on an iron condor, let me put this, risk graphs, Matt, they are complex, but they're helpful. I mean, a picture's worth 1,000 words. That's the whole point of it. This picture explains what you can make and lose and where you can make and lose it. You're going to spend much of your time in the future perfecting risk profiles and understanding what your risk dialogue is. But really, this first dialogue will be this window right here, which tells you what your potential profit is on your potential cost, right? What your potential profit is and your potential cost. The maximum amount of money that you can make in this position, and type some numbers in, is you can make $1,400 cash flow. So if we do 10 contracts here, our position size is for 10,000. So type in $1,400 cash flow, and you'll not notice right here where it says max profit, 1,400 cash flow, okay? Down here where it says buying power effect, it's gonna say 8,600. That's 10,000 minus 1,400. So in the chat, type in 1,400 cash flow, buying power effect 8,600. Now what that does for me, Matt, is it sets the expectation of what my income would be. Now, guys, we talked about this, and we're now setting the stage here a little bit for some numbers. If we have a $10,000 position, and the months we make money, we make like $1,400. Okay, so we make $1,400. 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, 1,400, 1,400. Now, what we talked about earlier, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And let's add one more line here. And maybe the one time we lose, I don't know, like 3,000 or 4,000, like negative. And it will depend. It will depend on the way that you manage the position. So when you lose, maybe you lose 3,500, okay? Now you'll notice here, guys, this is what we call an inverse reward to risk ratio. Now, by the way, if that was your business, right, if that was what you were getting from a result in the system, then is that a business that you would want to run? Those of you out there who are looking at the numbers and thinking through the numbers, would you want to run an option trading business that gives you $1,400 a month when you're right, and then the time you're wrong, you end up losing a little bit more, but it might be 3,000 or 4,000? Would those results be powerful to you? Now, Matt, the key to all of that is knowing how to handle that $3,500, right? You know, because if you only had 10,000 to work with, that would be too big of a position size for the portfolio. Talk a little bit about money management and the importance of learning position sizing, Matty.
You know, position sizing, money management, risk rules, all of that is so vitally important in any trading system, Tim. So this goes to what we call portfolio design, ladies and gentlemen. I want everybody to write that down into chat. Portfolio design. Everybody write that into chat because it's that important. Portfolio design is the amount of capital you're applying to different systems, right? So for example, if you trade cash flow condors, you know, personal gold, set method trading, TAP 25 cover calls, whatever it is, you basically have to determine how much of that portfolio are you going to apply to a certain system. And that's what we call asset allocation. So asset allocation is the percentage of a portfolio that you apply to a specific system. Position size is the percentage of that allocation that you apply to this system. Risk rules is how much I'm willing to risk per one trade in that system. So for example, Tim's setting up a $10,000 portfolio. So let's say Tim has a $50,000 portfolio and he's allocating 20% of his portfolio to cash flow condors, right? Which would be a $10,000 position size out there in the market working every single month to generate that $1,400 of cash flow every single month. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah, we talked about it quite a bit earlier. I mean, guys, if you only have 10 grand, you don't use 10 grand, you know, and we even set that probably standard, Matt. The most you probably want to be around 20, maybe 30% if you know hedging strategies and whatnot, right?
It depends. It depends on, the account size, obviously. If I have a $1.5 million account, I'm not putting anything close to 10% in cash flow condors.
Yeah.
I might do like a 1% allocation in that. If I have $100,000, putting 10% into cash flow condors makes a lot of sense. If I have $1,000, putting 10% makes sense there too. But even if you have $10,000, you could go up to 20, 30% of capital allocation. So it really just depends. And those are things that we work on every single month in those mastermind groups. So position size allocation, that's always determined based on your portfolio and kind of the design of your portfolio. The more money you have in your portfolio, the less you would put into this specific system. The less money you have in your portfolio, you might put a little bit higher percentage in this system. But here's the kicker though, guys. Regardless of if you're starting out with a $1,000 account, $5,000 account, $10,000 account, $50, $100, or $1 million account, it's about doing it the right way, getting cash flow. And the beautiful thing isn't the money coming in on a monthly basis, guys. The beautiful thing is where you're at in a year, 2, 3, 4 years from now. And that's the problem that a lot of traders have, is they never get through that initial crunch from the education standpoint. They don't understand certain terms. They don't understand certain concepts. They don't understand certain strategies. And so they struggle with that in the first 2, 3, 4, 5 months. And a lot of times in that time frame, you will see one of those drawdowns, right, Tim, that you know, you were looking at the back testing data in month 3, month 1, it worked great. Month 2, it worked great. But then in month 3, you had a drawdown. And the problem for new traders, new students who are learning how to trade systems and strategies and want to take advantage of something like this, they don't have that community to hold them up and help them out and understand what's going on a monthly basis. Because if that student
That's
gives
right.
up after month 3, Tim, what happens is they miss out on the next 10 months of gains, right? And that's what we know as traders, because we've had that experience, and we're going to make sure that on a monthly basis that you are doing the things that you need to do to run your trading business, because that's what this is. It is a trading business. You're investing in education, you're investing your time. It is a business, and you got to run it like that.
Everybody should trade Condors, guys. You know,
Everybody should.
It's not a debate. You know, in my opinion, if you have a desire to be theta positive and build cash flow, everybody should trade Condors. And there's a lot of different systems out there. And one of the disservices, I think that, and there's nothing wrong with books. I love books. You know, Matt, we interviewed Guy Cohen on the podcast. I love his book on options, you know, Options Made Easy. But there's 50 strategies in there. If you're a new student, you can't learn 50 strategies and then get it into the market.
No, you don't need it. Tim, you said it earlier, and I'll rephrase it again. It's not about becoming good at 50 strategies. It's about perfecting 2 or 3 systems. That's what it's about. You know, I've now been a trader for 13 years, Tim, and for 13 years, I have evolved as a trader to the point where I can trade with skill, maybe 50 different systems, right?
Sure.
But that's insane. That's crazy. It's nuts to actually do that. You got to get to the point in your career as a trader and as an investor where you know exactly who you are. You know your systems, your go-to, and you design your portfolio around that. The Tackle 25 covered calls is a majority of what I do. Swing trading those scouting reports is a minority of what I do. Cash flow condors is something I apply every single month. I know who I am as a trader because I've evolved into that. And the thing you got to realize, guys, at Tackle with Bear Market Survival Guide, Cash Flow Condors, and Personal Gold coming up in the next couple months, you have these systems that are based on our entire experience and our evolution as a trader, and we're giving you this in this one simple box. We like to call it what's in the box, right? The premium system, the rules, the education, the community, and the assistance that new students and veteran traders need to be their most efficient self as a trader.
100%. And, you know, the very last thing I want to do here tonight, guys, as we're, you know, kind of thinking through the whole webinar, and great job tonight. You know, I know it's a lot of heavy content, a lot of new information, but you should be excited. I said this when we started, you should have equal parts, you know, kind of be responsible. You shouldn't just rush into the market and do it live. You know, you should have some kind of intimidation from all the numbers and all the new lingo, but equal parts excitement. And I've said it before, Matt, my job as an instructor and a coach in trading when I'm bringing new people into something is to build them up and make sure that they have proper expectations. So it's an equal balance in that.
Let me say one thing to that, and then you can go through the compounding action, because I think that's very, very, very vital here. Guys, the one thing that you will never see out of us, you're never going to see out of us coming to a webinar where we basically hype you, show you ways that you can turn $1,000 into $100,000 in a month and a half and get you to buy into that get rich quick. That doesn't work. You have to put the time in, you have to put the work in, you have to surround yourself with mentors and coaches and community, and you have to do this long term. I never care where my students are after 1, 2, 3 months, guys. I care where they're at a year. I care where they're at 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and 5 years, because that's where trading becomes powerful. That's where you really see that life-changing moment is not in year 1, it's in year 5. And I hate to say it like that, but it's the truth. And that's the one thing you will always get out of us is the cold, hard truth.
You know, and that's where I think it's important to remind you guys of something I firmly believe in. People tend to underestimate what they can accomplish long-term, you know, and they overestimate what they can do in the short term. And that's where all the get rich quick stuff comes in, but they underestimate what they can achieve long-term. even if you're starting small with, say, a $5,000, $10,000 portfolio, if that's the kind of capital you could work with, and a lot of people would be right there, Matt, when they're new and starting. I remember my first account was 10K, and the only reason was that is that I borrowed the money from mom. That's what happened.
Yeah, mom liked you more. She didn't borrow me that. I opened up my first account with 2,000. That should tell you everything about our upbringing right there.
My mom borrowed me some money, and Matt had to open his own account, so that does make me laugh. I didn't even thought about that. But if you're starting small and you're thinking, well, Tim, can this make an impact in my life? There's no doubt about it. There's a concept called compounding, and compounding is critical to anything in finance. It's the eighth wonder of the world, like they talk about. And I want to walk you through some compounding numbers, get an idea of what you can achieve. Let's say that your initial position, was $1,000. Okay, $1,000 is for one contract. So in the chat, so we get the numbers. See, when you guys type in the numbers, I know that you're at least following the logic. So type in $1,000 trade. Okay, so if you had a $1,000 position,
one contract. We're putting on one contract there.
Yep. And let's say that we want to look and see what we can accomplish. No, I don't know, over the course of a certain amount of years. Matt, what our average return, help me do some math on
average return based on back testing. And ladies and gentlemen, this includes drawdown. And does everybody understand what drawdown is? Yes or no? Just give me a quick yes or no in chat if you understand what drawdown is. Drawdown, for those of you who are not necessarily familiar with that, is those months where you don't cash flow, right? And so if you look at the back testing data based on what we were looking at, you had 11%, 13%, 11%, 13%, and then you had that drawdown of 48%. Majin, that's what I'm talking about. So if you average out the average gain per month and you take into account drawdown per month, you are averaging about 7.5% return after drawdown. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you could average 7.5% average monthly return, would that get your blood pumping a little bit? Would you like that if you were averaging 7.5% in this system? Because that's what the backtesting numbers is. So with drawdown, you're averaging about 7.5% every single month. That's 90% a year on capital invested. Guys, some of you might not have ever seen that, right? Some of you might be like, oh, well, I'm getting like 3, 4, 5, 6% in my 401k, and everybody's told me for all of time that all I need to do is average 8% yearly. But we also know that's complete and utterly garbage, guys. And just because you haven't done something in your life doesn't mean it doesn't exist, and doesn't mean other people don't do it every day, day after day after day. 7.5% is the average number based on the back testing in the system. Go ahead, Tim.
And this is where I think we got to paint a long-term vision, because, if somebody's coming to quit their job, I mean, you can quit your job, but it doesn't mean you're going to be a professional trader in a day. Obviously, in one webinar, not going to happen. But even if you're starting small, you can achieve some pretty incredible things if you start to actually cash flow with a business like we've created here through Cashflow Condors. Starting with that one contract, that $1,000, over the course of a year, Matt, 7.5% a month ends up netting about 90. And that's on capital, like we talked about. Guys, position sizing, you don't use all of the money that you have in your life on Condors, right? You can take a drawdown. So you size it accordingly. But on that original 1,000, if we reinvest, after 1 year, Matt, the 1,000 will have made $900, And if we go here, actually, let me look here, term, compounded, and we're going to compound that monthly. Over the course of
5 years.
Let's do 5 years.
5 years. 5 years.
Your $1,000 will end up turning into $75,000. See, it doesn't start in 1 month. In 1 month, you only make $140. Okay. In October, November, December, during your first 3 months, maybe only on per contract, you only make like a couple $100, right? But then you reinvest the money. And then you reinvest the money. And then you reinvest the money. In 2019, your returns are going to be double what you had this year. 2020, that money gets reinvested. By 2020, now you have a system on that first contract you were trading now is netting $6,500 over the year. Now your system is growing. It's developing because you're putting that money back into the system. 2022, That capital turns into 41,000, and by 2023, you're at 75,000 starting with your $1,000.
Let me speak to this, Tim, because compounding gains is the most important part of creating wealth for the consumer. How many of you have ever heard of a phrase called the velocity of money? How many of you have ever heard that phrase? The velocity of money. This concept, the velocity of money, goes to how far a dollar goes. Okay, so if I give somebody on the street $140, right, and they have that $140, what is the individual, the consumer on the street? I give that $140, and I use the 140 because that was the cash flow, Tim, we were getting from the Condor that we just did. So if I give that to a consumer on the street, what are they going to do with the money? They're going to go spend that money, which means the consumer who gets the 140 and goes spends that money, it will never be worth more than $140. But if I put $140 of cash flow into Tim's pocket, Tim's not going to go spend the money because he understands the velocity of money. What Tim's going to do is he's going to go reinvest that capital back into the market. So eventually, instead of doing one contract, you're now doing two contracts. And instead of getting $140 in cash flow, you're getting $280 in cash flow. And then he's going to get to the point 3 months later where he's like, okay, now I got enough capital. I can now do 3 contracts. 3 months later, now you're getting more capital, more cash flow coming into. You go do 4 contracts, then 5 contracts, then 6 contracts. And before you know it, guys, you're selling enough iron condors to pay your entire monthly bills, your house payment, your car payments, your student loan debt, your credit card debt, you're going on vacation, and you're living the life you deserve. But to get there, you have to sacrifice the short term for the long term. And consumers in America are not willing to do that. And that's why there's a difference between the rich and the poor. And if anybody wants to argue with me on that, I would strongly recommend you go read The Richest Man in Babylon, because that would paint you the picture that you need to understand about investing, compounding gains, and creating wealth long term. That's what you guys are going to do with cash flow condors. That's what you're going to do with tackle trading. And in 2, 3, 4 years from now, guys, whatever you do from this point to that, if you achieve financial freedom, isn't it worth it? Everything that we ask you to do, go into those mastermind groups, practice trading, back testing, doing the things you need to do as an investor. If you're out of the rat race and you're cash flowing and you're living the life you deserve, that to me is powerful. And that to me is what keeps me going and keeps on putting out these educational products.
You know, guys, I'm excited. You're going to love it. If you want to be a trader and you see value in building income, you're going to love this. There's no doubt about it. You don't even need to overthink it, and the Condors system and the things that we do with Condors, we're going to be around doing this stuff for a very long time.
And let me speak to Walter's question very quickly, because it's an important question. When I put the money back, does it mean I need to increase the position size gradually? Yes, Walter, we want to increase that gradually. You don't want to go from 1 contract to 5 contracts in 1 month. You want to make sure your cash flow is coming up, cash flow is going up, so your percentage allocation in your position size is equal to the portfolio. So the loss would be bigger in those drawdowns, but the gains would be bigger in the wins as well. So you gradually increase that as your portfolio increases, you increase that as well. Does that make sense? It's all percentage to the portfolio, but yes, Walter, it would be a gradual hike. Gradual hike, kind of like what the Fed is doing right now. There you go. we are applying the Fed rules to cash flow condors position size. That's what we're doing.
We sure are. All right. Matt, I love what you said a minute ago. The $140 the one time doesn't change your life if you just go spend it. Guys, I want you to really start thinking about money differently and learn how to use the options market to generate income the way that we do, the way that we teach our students.
Also, Tim, I mean, we do this all the time. We show 1 contract examples because we want to show you the legit. But I know we have a lot of traders here with significant portfolios that could do 5, 10 contracts, right?
Yep.
And that's exciting too. I'm just excited for that next mastermind group, Tim. I love those things.
There's no doubt about it. All right, guys. And once you get all set up, those of you who are entering into the course, we're going to have a discount window here, I believe. In fact, there should be a countdown timer somewhere on that page as well. It doesn't last forever. I think we're going till early next week. You have until next Wednesday, I believe, to purchase this. Tuesday at midnight, I believe. So if you know that you're ready to rock and roll and you want to jump in, great. Come and join us. Make sure you put in the discount code.
If you do not have cash flow condors, guys, this system will pay for itself. That's the truth.
It's a no-brainer if you're a trader, and if you want to, add another income system there, make sure that you do it. And everything else. I mean, Matt, did I miss anything else?
No, I'm just going to tell everybody right now. It takes 7 streams of income to get to the point where you're generating $1 million in revenue on average. Cash flow condors is one of them. Tackle 25 is one of them. Real estate investing is one of them. So if you're on 1 or 2 or 3 types of money coming into through different, entrepreneur, different businesses, different systems, real estate investing, this is absolutely one of those streams of income that can get you to where you want to be.
Guys, and quite frankly, at Tackle Trading, we have the full weight and strength of everything that we do here with our coaches and our team. And those of you who want to be a part of this, I know that we're going to be there to support you and to help you. It's what I love. It's my vision for my life, is for me and Matt and all of these coaches to build a community that helps you change your life the way I have. Okay.
Unlike other companies that you deal with from any industry, when you deal with Tackle Trading, guys, you deal with the owners. Tim's an owner of Tackle Trading. I'm the CEO of Tackle Trading. Noah Davidson, an owner. Gina Poore, an owner. You deal with the people that build these systems, because we're going to be with you every step of the way.
Love it. All right, guys, thank you for being here. If you learned tonight, if you see the value, everybody type in money in the chat. I want you to go out and make some money. Get excited about this. Get focused on your education. And here's the basic thing here, guys. The next month, you get the system, you go through the videos, you get the training, focus on learning this and really diving into the next month. And then we're going to take it a step at a time. Now, by the way, Matt, one last bit of announcement. Those of you who do purchase, we have a live onboarding webinar on Monday. So if you're buying this system, if you're part of this team, come and join us on Monday evening. We'll send you an email. You're going to be getting a lot of information through the PDF, the welcome email, the 30-day checklist. There's a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline for you. Keep an eye out for those things day by day.
We want you guys to, as you're moving forward with Cash Flow Condors and the team, we want you guys to know exactly what we expect of you and what you expect to do over the next 30 days so that you can be very efficient with your time.
Yeah, and I'm going to go and tuck my kids into bed, Matt. It is bedtime. It is a school night, and I can hear them up there kind of giggling. So that's the beauty of being home all the time. My dogs have been hanging out with me in the office. Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, thanks for being here tonight. Great job, Matt. Thanks for coming in and joining me here at the end. And Cam,
good job by you.
Good job. All right, guys, we'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, guys.